This is the beginning of March, early spring. The plum on my right has already started pushing flowers and we are now ready to start the germination of seeds. Now we are going to be using a certain potting mix to aid and abet the germination of these seeds. Give it the right temperature, the right environment for them to germinate before we transplant them out in the field when the temperatures become more conducive and warmer. So this is the potting mix that we use. This is the sterile medium. This is not a nutrient. Seeds do not need nutrients. They need ideal conditions for growth, which this potting mix is going to provide. Now it has got three ingredients. It has coir, it has perlite, and it has vermiculite. Now coir comes from coconut husks. Perlite is this white stuff and this helps in the drainage. If you see any shiny material in this potting mix, that is vermiculite. Now vermiculite is a mineral, neutral medium. It's neither acidic, neither alkaline, and that also helps in the retention of water and some drainage. So this is the kind of mixture that we have. There is no mathematics in terms of what kind of ratio we are using. Mostly it is coir with some vermiculite and perlite mixed into it. So this medium, this sterile medium is the one which we are going to be using for the propagation of our seeds. I am going to mix it very thoroughly, perlite, the vermiculite and the coir, all of it together over here, and then fill it in seed trays such as these. So the seed trays are here with the potting mix. Now all that we need are our seeds. Now before we start, let me recommend you these very useful seed storage boxes. So the seed box can be like your bank of seeds. This particular one has these cells where you can store all your seeds, mark them and take them out whenever you need to germinate them. So this stores a lot of seeds, as you can see, very small cells, and the seeds are small anyway. So all these are going to be used now for propagation. So I'm going to start maybe with, let's see, what do we start with? Let's start with cold hardy plants for this tray. When we say cold hardy plants, what comes to mind are the brassicas, which means broccoli, which means cabbages, which means cauliflower. So I've got two seed banks, as you can see, and all of these store hundreds of seeds that I have bought from the market, saved them, or they have been gifted to me by the good folk who visit our farm. So I'm going to start, like I said, with the brassicas. Now this one here is the cauliflower. This is a hybrid seed, by the way, and I am going to be also talking about what kinds of seeds. Now my recommendation is that if you want to experiment, by all means try all kinds of seeds. You can buy cheaper seeds in the market, but in my experience, please go for the hybrid seeds if you want any kind of harvest at all. Hybrid seeds have to be bought from the market, one. Second, they are very expensive, at least 3 or 4 times more expensive than the regular seeds. And the other drawback that I can think of is that you cannot save seeds once the plant starts blooming. You cannot get seeds out of it. So you'll have to, every time you'll have to buy these seeds from the market. Now what are the pluses? Once you have planted your F1 or the hybrid seeds, you have more or less ensured their germination, you have ensured a crop, you have also ensured to some extent that they are going to be not susceptible to the pests, and these are going to give you a harvest. You would not lose your harvest. Now last year I got the regular broccoli seeds and they were eaten by the worms. Some of them that which grew, they bolted immediately. Half of them didn't germinate. So all kinds of problems, and I lost the entire season over here in the high altitude part of the world that we live in. So we have a small window in which we can grow anything at all. So we cannot take these risks. There's a lot of debate online whether you should use hybrid seeds or you should save your seeds and have them flower and then save those seeds and then germinate them again. You can do that by all means, but in my experience, I had lost 1 year of broccoli. Last year I had no broccoli at all whatsoever because I did not use the hybrid seeds. This year I'm not going to take chances at all. I'm going to use the hybrid seeds. So we have the cauliflower, and I am going to use again this pencil to scratch the surface of these seed cells to sow in these seeds. So the rule of the thumb here is that you need to bury the seeds about twice its width. So that is going to be obviously an approximation, and I am going to sow at least 2 or 3 in each cell. So I'll have multiple cauliflowers. I don't need to worry because ultimately I'm going to prick them out, give them a separate pot, or I'm going to prick them out if the weather is conducive outside and sow them directly. So I'll have more than about 30 cauliflowers if all goes well. And I'm confident, like I said, because I am sowing the hybrid versions of the seeds. So here you are, I have 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. You don't have to worry how many go into each cell, that's not a problem. 3 or 4 is fine. You can pick them out later, and that's the process that we follow as well. We pick them out from these seed cells for transplantation elsewhere. So here we are, all done. Cauliflower is done, and I'm going to look for another brassica. Over here we have now the broccoli, again F1. So I scratch the surface. For the broccoli as well, I'm going to allot 2 rows. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, approximately 3 in every cell. By the way, I must point out this is succession planting or succession sowing that we're doing over here, because I already have some broccolis which are waiting for me to transplant them out. So I sowed them almost about 1.5 months ago, and this is a new batch. This is a succession of broccoli that I'm germinating because I want a steady supply of broccoli for the next couple of months. I don't want a situation where I have like a big harvest of broccoli coming all at once, because I won't have any use of it. I won't be able to consume them. What I really want is a steady supply. That's why only 2 rows with 3 broccoli seeds in each cell. So the broccoli is done as well. Now the other thing to note or remember is that when you're planting the brassicas together, there can be a lot of confusion because they look exactly the same. They're from the same family, the brassicas, which means that you need to label them as you go. So this was the cauliflower. This was the cauliflower, and today is the 11th of March 25, and I mark it over here, these 2 cells, cauliflower. Then I mark these 2 cells for broccoli, and this is the hybrid, and the symbol for hybrid is F1, and these 2 are for broccoli. And as you can notice, I'm using ice cream spoons for labels. So now 2 brassicas done. So, and the next brassica that I'm going to use now is our cabbage. So the cabbage is here. Again, 2 rows also for the cabbage. Three in a cell, just like the broccoli, and the cauliflower. Done. Cabbage. Done. Now let's look for another brassica. Of course, we have our favorite kale. Now this kale, by the way, is called the Black Tuscan. We're very happy with it. But I must clarify that this one is not an hybridized version. This is not an F1 seed, but it gave us a wonderful harvest. Very happy with it. It's called Black Tuscan. So our favorite Black Tuscan kale is also going to be germinated. Now the kale again looks exactly the same like our cabbage, the broccoli and the cauliflower because they are from the same family. So we need to label them all properly. 2 to 3 in a cell, 2 to 3 in a cell, 2 to 3 in a cell. So there's a technique to also sow it the way I'm sowing. You just roll the seeds with your index finger and a thumb like so, and you can, with practice, get a hang of it and you can sort of count the number of seeds you're putting. So I'm putting roughly 2 to 3, 4 goes in a cell, not a problem. So we're done with the kale and I'm going to put them back in the seed cells again for further planting. We are going to do succession planting. So I'm going to come here again after about 15 to 20 days to plant the same seeds all over again because like I said, we want succession harvest rather than harvest all at once. So we have taken care of the brassicas more or less. And please remember, this is the recommendation from our farm. The Black Tuscan kale is a kale variety that we are really very happy with, very cold hardy. There was snow falling on top of it, even though we harvested a lot of it last year. So with kale, you can do a lot of things. Kale is a superfood, as you know, and you can make kale chips with it, and that's what we enjoy doing over here. And you can also make a healthy smoothie with it, vegan or non-vegan. Both are really very delicious and of course very healthy. Kale, Black Tuscan. Other vegetable which is cold hardy are the lettuces. So they go in one cell. As you can see, the seeds of the iceberg are very similar to the seeds of the lettuces, which means that I cannot tell them apart. If I cannot tell them apart, I don't know which is which. And that becomes a bit of a problem when you start transplanting them out in the field because every plant has its unique planting distance. And we are done with this tray which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different veggies, 4 of brassicas, and then we have 3 of the lettuces. Now very simple, you cover them with your hand like this very gently. Some of these broccolis, they need a little bit more potting mix on top, and I am going to sprinkle some on top. Like so. And we are done. Now all that I need to do is sprinkle some water on it. What you really need is not watering but misting. You need to mist these because like I said, we have the ideal potting mix over here. We have a mixture of coir, we have some perlite in it, we have the vermiculite, all a very ideal growing medium for these seeds, and it is very porous, very friable material, and we just need to make sure that these seeds retain the moisture and there is good drainage so that they can germinate very fast. Now, it's still very cold outside, the temperatures can dip anytime. Now with this tray done, what we're going to do is we are going to put this in our makeshift conservatory that we have. We have actually annexed a bathroom and made it into a conservatory, a makeshift conservatory if you will, where they get the warmth, because that is the warmth these seeds will use for their germination. So I'll take it down to the conservatory. Down to the conservatory. This is the conservatory. This has this wide mirror which is going to trap all the heat inside. And as you can see, we already have a lot of things taking advantage of the warmth that we are trapping inside. And we've got a lot of things over here. We've got some avocados which are going to be over here until the weather outside is favorable for us to put them out. We have some blackberry propagation happening over here. We have the lavender over here. We have also seed cells with lot other vegetables germinating. So I'm going to make room for it over here, and there's enough room. And the watering that we're going to give this seed tray is just misting, because we do not want to disturb these seeds at all with the water. So this is the kind of misting that we're going to give it. The idea is to keep the seeds moist. And we are done.